Did you know that some of the most decorated soldiers in history fought on a battlefield where the fate of Rome was at stake? During the Punic Wars, Roman soldiers displayed a courage that bordered on the unbelievable. But what happened when these heroes were confronted by an unbeatable enemy, the Carthaginians? In one of the bloodiest conflicts in history, Rome faced a military force that was well-trained, cunning, and relentless. The Carthaginians, led by Hannibal, crossed the Alps and threatened the very heart of Rome. But as the Romans faced unimaginable challenges, men arose whose actions in battle changed the course of wars, received the highest honors, and left their mark on history with their bravery. And the most impressive part? Some of these soldiers were on the brink of despair, but rose up, making unimaginable sacrifices to save the empire. Imagine being on the battlefield, seeing your comrades fall by your side, with the clash of metal and the cry of the enemy echoing in the distance. And yet, finding the strength to fight, knowing that your courage would not be forgotten. These soldiers were not just warriors. They were symbols of resistance, honor, and loyalty to a Rome that was fighting for its survival. Now, let's dive into the stories of these legends, whose names you may never have heard, but who played pivotal roles in saving the empire. How did a Roman soldier, fighting alongside his comrades, face a battle he knew was impossible to win? What did he do to ensure his courage would be recognized amidst the chaos? And most importantly, what do these stories reveal about human nature and the power of resilience? Let's uncover the mysteries behind the medals, the victories, and the losses. In today's video, we'll explore how the courage and determination of certain soldiers during the Punic Wars not only helped Rome survive, but also changed the course of crucial battles. Get ready to discover the hidden stories of these heroes and how their actions became a lesson in leadership, resilience, and sacrifice, which still resonate today. Before we dive into this epic journey, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the incredible stories of courage and strategy we have here. Your subscription helps spread these essential lessons of history to more people, so make sure to support us. Let's relive the Roman legions together. The image of Roman soldiers often evokes thoughts of well-trained warriors, battle-hardened by years of discipline and relentless preparation. Yet, during the Punic Wars, some of the most celebrated heroes defied this very stereotype. Among those decorated for their valor were men who, remarkably, lacked prior battle experience. These were farmers, tradesmen, and laborers who joined the ranks out of duty, not expertise. Thrown into the chaos of war, their courage was born from necessity rather than training, proving that bravery could emerge in the most unlikely of circumstances. Take, for example, the story of Marcus Claudius, a humble legionnaire whose bravery at the Battle of Lake Trasimene earned him a rare commendation. Facing Hannibal's ambush, Claudius's unit was encircled with no clear path to survival. Against all odds, he rallied his fellow soldiers, creating a human shield to protect a retreating cohort. His decisive action not only saved lives, but also demonstrated that leadership and courage were not confined to seasoned commanders. But what fueled such acts of heroism among inexperienced recruits? For many, it was the overwhelming fear of losing their homeland and families to the advancing Carthaginians. This sense of personal and collective duty propelled them to face dangers that seasoned warriors might hesitate to confront. While the legions of Rome were built on structure and strategy, individual moments of courage like Claudius's often determined whether a battle was won or lost. However, for every moment of triumph, there were stories of overwhelming despair. How did soldiers reconcile their fear with the need to act? And what happened when courage alone wasn't enough? To uncover these truths, we must explore the contradictions that defined Roman soldiers in these turbulent times. The courage of Roman soldiers is often celebrated in tales of triumph. Yet the Punic Wars also revealed moments of crippling fear and failure. At the Battle of Cannae, one of Rome's most devastating defeats, the disciplined legions crumbled under Hannibal's brilliant tactics. Thousands of soldiers were slaughtered or captured, yet amidst this chaos, individual acts of bravery emerged. It's a paradox that even in their darkest hour, some Romans found a way to rise above despair. Consider the tale of Publius Sempronius, a centurion who led a desperate last stand during Cannae. Though he knew the battle was lost, Sempronius refused to abandon his position. Alongside a handful of men, he held the Carthaginian advance long enough for remnants of the Roman army to escape. His actions were a stark contrast to the larger collapse around him, highlighting a fundamental contradiction. The collective failure of Rome's army was intertwined with the individual heroism of its soldiers. These contradictions extended beyond the battlefield. While Roman discipline was legendary, fear and doubt often gripped even the most seasoned warriors. Veterans admitted to moments of hesitation, wondering if their efforts were in vain against Hannibal's seemingly invincible forces. Yet, it was often in these moments of vulnerability that their greatest strengths emerged, as soldiers drew on their shared identity and loyalty to Rome to push forward. If courage could coexist with fear, and triumph could rise from failure, what else lay beneath the surface of these legendary wars? To fully understand, we must shift focus from the grand strategies of generals to the personal sacrifices of the common soldier. Histories of the Punic Wars often center on figures like Scipio Africanus or Hannibal Barca, whose names echo through the ages. But the course of these wars was shaped just as much by nameless legionnaires whose decisions under pressure became the backbone of Rome's resilience. These men didn't command armies or devise strategies. They simply acted when the moment demanded it, often in ways that altered the fate of entire battles. One such moment came during the siege of Syracuse, where a group of Roman engineers turned soldiers managed to disable Archimedes' war machines. Though they were outmatched by the ingenuity of the enemy's defenses, their resourcefulness and bravery allowed Rome to breach the city's walls. These were not celebrated generals, but ordinary men. Yet their actions turned the tide in a seemingly unwinnable situation. What made these soldiers so critical to Rome's success was their ability to adapt under extreme pressure. Unlike the Carthaginian army, which relied heavily on mercenaries, Rome's legions were comprised of citizens with a personal stake in the war. Their loyalty to the Republic and determination to protect their homeland gave them a psychological edge, even when facing a superior force. Yet this reliance on individual courage posed its own risks. How could Rome ensure that such bravery would consistently emerge in the chaos of war? And what happened to these soldiers after their moment in the spotlight faded? To answer this, we must delve into the broader implications of their sacrifices for the survival of Rome. The courage of Rome's soldiers during the Punic Wars wasn't confined to the battlefield. It left a lasting imprint on the empire itself. The sacrifices made by these men laid the foundation for a military tradition that would shape Rome's future conquests. Their actions inspired reforms, such as better training for recruits and a renewed emphasis on rewarding acts of valor, ensuring that the lessons of these wars were not forgotten. Yet, the impact of their bravery extended beyond practical changes. These soldiers became symbols of Rome's resilience, embodying the values of duty, honor, and sacrifice that defined the Republic. Veterans were often celebrated in their communities, their stories passed down as reminders of what it meant to be Roman. Their legacy wasn't just in the victories they helped secure, but in the cultural identity they forged for generations to come. Still, for all their heroism, many of these men returned to a society that struggled to fully understand the toll of their sacrifices. The psychological scars of war, the loss of comrades, and the weight of their experiences often went unspoken. How did Rome balance its reverence for these soldiers with the reality of their suffering? And what can their stories teach us about the true cost of courage? Perhaps these questions lead us to an even deeper truth. In war, is bravery a choice, or is it simply the only option when survival hangs in the balance? Rome's soldiers shaped an empire with their courage, but what became of them when the battles ended? Discover the untold fate of Rome's forgotten heroes in our next video, Abandoned Heroes, the forgotten fate of Roman veterans. Learn how broken promises and disillusionment turned these war legends into a threat that almost toppled the empire they fought to build. Click now to uncover the human cost of conquest and the uprisings that shook Rome to its core.